Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beaou podcast. Today I'm Ink, and here's the other co-hosts, Parm and Poom. That's a little bit of a disclaimer here. Today we are talking about conspiracy theories, and by talking about it, it doesn't necessarily mean that we support or believe in any of the things we talk about. We're purely presenting facts and talking about it. We thought it was gonna be an interesting topic to talk about. So yeah, let's get to the main point.
So I think we should start at, I think we should start with what are the conspiracy theories first. So can you explain what they
Yeah.
are?
Okay, I think I will start by separating two words. The first one is conspiracy. You often heard it associated with conspirators or something like that. It's basically someone or like I'm referring to conspirators, someone who plots something big against someone powerful or something like that, right? And another one is theory. It's theory is uh, some explanation for something based on evidences and tests, usually scientifically. Can someone put those two together and give an explanation of a definition of conspiracy theory?
So a conspiracy theory is something that it's kind of like how some sort of groups of people used to explain some some types of events that occur that can be kind of polarizing, I guess. So basically, there's one who want to prove that the theory is false, and another who claims that the theory is true. So it's kind of debatable, I guess, in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when it comes to conspiracy theories, it is also associated with a lot of prejudice, a lot of bad stuff, you know what I mean, right? So
There are
can
many
you
examples of
yeah, I was
conspiracy
about to say
theories.
that. So can you give us some examples?
So it can be related to science, for example, flat Earth or hollow Earth, and then current events like the COVID-19. We're not gonna touch that. But become important.
Yeah, it can also be about other things as well. For example, in will guide us to the subliminal advertisement for today, and I'll also talk about the assassination of John F. Kennedy as well, which is probably one of the most famous conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Right. So
Mine is gonna be world domination, especially the well-known one, which is the Illuminati.
And I will also touch a bit on Hollywood series as well. So I think we should start it before we go to our specific examples. I think maybe we should start about some general stuff and definition around conspiracy theories. So mainly how how those conspiracy theories emerges first. I think we should talk about that first. So
can you give us some sort of guideline?
Yeah, sure.
Or some brief summary.
Yeah. So conspiracy theories will related a lot with sciences and psychology specifically of how people think and how people behave around those thoughts. So conspiracy theories will usually emerges from a specific events as Palm just said, like an event that will get people to care about a lot, such as COVID-19 or political situation or world situation. Well, there are people who like care a lot about like the facts and like the information around like uh the current things around like the matters. There will also like be people like skeptical about other things too because like people wanted to know the truth, right? So uh what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do agree with your points, especially when you said that it's related to some sort of like physiologies and how people think. I think it also relate to sociology as well, as it's kind of explores the impact between like how people think like this. Because obviously when it comes to conspiracy theories, it's not just you alone, it's also about others people as well, I guess. But when other people believe something, then I guess you are more likely to believe in that thing as well. It's kind of like peer pressure or influences in some way, if you consider that
Yeah, that's a
as a social agency.
sorry to cut you there. You can continue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with both of you. But maybe I would like to add like um it's about the nature of humans. When when something isn't solved, we always we usually question it. So people need to find some conspiracies to answer them.
Mm.
I think it's also kind of show how much we know about how much we know about like our knowledge, because it's kind of like an iceberg.
Mm.
Um, like we already know a little, and then there's a big chunk down there that are like haven't discovered yet. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah. I think it's pretty interesting how like our main point is about like human natures and like how we wanted to like know a lot more about things, and it also like tendency of us to like wanted to explain things that we might not like have an explanation for yet, or maybe like things that we aren't even sure yet. And like I think another interesting thing is how like conspiracy theories not just like a new thing in like the 21st century or anything. It's actually like dated from like I think like very ancient times, and there are many like conspiracy theories that might have like died down. A lot have been like debunked, and a lot of conspiracy theories have like been proven wrong by humans, by ourselves. And it's also like a matter of like perspective and how we are like exposed to stuff as well. I think I really like when people talk about like peer pressure. I think that's a very important factors of how like conspiracy theories grow and how people like see something through the perspective of their peers. I think that's a very interesting thing to think about because like we there's a saying that we are like an amalgamation of people around us, and I think that that also applies here as well. Since like for example, if we have like a friend who believes in a conspiracy theories, and like we don't have like any knowledge about that matter yet, we don't have like strong opinion or maybe like have enough knowledge about that yet, we might have like a bias tendency or like recency biases towards like what our friends say because like hey, he's a friend, he's obviously right. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I think Ying also points out about um us having like believe in conspiracy theories for a long time now. Then another interesting point is that obviously during those time we have a lot of technologies developed, such as like science, phone, a lot of innovation. So another thing to consider about is how that development of technologies contributes to like conspiracy theories, because obviously you have said that as like things develop, then several conspiracies can be debunked. So
Mm.
that's another thing that I think we should think about it because,
You
but
to talk about peer pressure or others' pressure to believe in it. I think it's kind of related to how people in the ancient times um just believe in the gods and how they created the world. It's kind of pressure or um the circumstance that the religion taught you to believe like that.
Mhm. Yeah, it touches a lot on how how we believe in things because oh yeah, I think we also have to talk about some terminology like conspiracy theories. What is it?
interesting. Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, what is it?
You can go
Conspiracy
first.
theorists.
I think it's someone
Um,
who comes up with theory, but obviously they don't have to be like an expert on that topics, but maybe they have some sort of evidence or strong belief to it. I think that's what make a good conspiracy theory. The theorist, yeah, theorist.
I'm not sure whether it expands the scope or not, but uh, I think the conspiracy theories are also used not only the creators or the originators of each conspiracy theories, but also the believer of them as well. I'm not sure about that though. Okay, so let's move on to how it developed. So conspiracy theories, I think we should focus on the modern day here on this part because it's more relevant to our daily life. To be fair, yeah, it's more relevant to our daily life. So with modern technology such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and stuff, people can share their stuff, can share what they think, uh, really quickly around the world. Like it's actually kind of insane to think about on how these people's thoughts can spread around the world just by some words on some tweets or a Facebook post, and by being having the ability to share and spread around, specifically conspiracy theories. I think it's very uh, scary, I guess, on how you can see something through just on your phone, and especially Facebook and Twitter and stuff that have a friend function. I think you can know on whether hey, this is my friend, uh is he trustable or not. Like
it's on proportion.
yeah, for you can add on.
I'm quite I'm quite curious about that. So, many people just believe content creators on TikTok or YouTube,
Yeah.
and many bad things happen. Some kids believe that the world is going to end.
Yeah, obviously it's not just like kids, you know what I'm saying. Obviously adults and older people also share and watch a lot of contents, especially on Facebook and on their other websites. I'm not suggesting any name, but you guys probably know it. So obviously when you talk about YouTube, um, when you watch something, for example, you watch a conspiracy theory, then YouTube will be more likely to recommend that similar video to you, right? And it's kind of like a feedback loop that keeps going. So you kind of like fall into the rabbit hole, and it's just like YouTube will not suggest something that opposed to that. So it's kind of scary in a way that you can just like be continuously feeding by those kind of theories, I guess.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So we can conclude that the introduction of social media and its algorithms may lead to um, the spread of your beliefs and conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I'm not sure though whether like there's a regulation or not, but I think there's like a regulation on YouTube and uh Facebook as well. At a certain point, I'm not sure about like the regulation and stuff.
Obviously, there are regulations, right? But
Yeah.
obviously, YouTube is a very huge platform. There are like millions of millions of hours of content downloading. I mean, that have been put on YouTube each day. So obviously, YouTube couldn't scan everything, and
Mhm.
obviously, it's kind of YouTube also has a kind of like a dark website. I mean, a dark web kind of like side of thing apart from like the YouTube page in general. So if you search something, you can go up into some sort of that as well.
Yeah, but at least like it lessen like the chance, I guess, for like a person to see TV stuff. But like yeah, it's still very like scary. And so I think we'll talk about this more on like what to take from this episode.
Yeah, we should go to our topic, like how conspiracy ended because
Yeah.
become less popular immensely.
Mm.
So
I
you
think
can
we'll
you
actually I think we'll actually talk about this a little bit prior to like I think around like the definition on how like science and mathematics were like developed and technologies were more like developed, and so how like people have like some explanation on things, and like I think the biggest difference between like why people believe in science is that there's actually like a replicable and actually like tangible, I guess, to a certain extent, replicable and tangible effects that people can actually witness by their own, and actually doesn't actually rely on like just some made up stuff by like disbelief, and there's like a quite rigorous regulation in like the scientific communities. So very I think that's a very interesting point. But do you have anything to add on how like conspiracy theories debunked or and
Oh yeah, debunk. I would say it's like um yeah, it's about the development of technology and science. And another thing is like the stream of people and the society.
yeah, but obviously even though there are some introductions of technologies and
Maybe
science,
maybe like if the COVID-19 ends, uh the conspiracy theories on it will become less popular too. As people as it no longer affects people's life and kind of that.
maybe because obviously some people still believe in, I don't want to name the specific topics, but even with the introduction of science and some sort of proofs, some people still don't believe it, and maybe call it as something fakes, or maybe they are in like they are made by the government to like to fraud or lure them. I guess that's how they will it sometimes. So obviously, it's not going to vanish, like completely vanish from people's mind, but obviously, it will reduce significantly for sure.
I think it also depends on like how each person, like each individuals, hold their beliefs and how they are like attached to it, how they are like very unwavering and cannot be like persuaded or like cannot be like how should I put it? Cannot be like uh, confronted with like a new information that said, "Hey, you're wrong," and take it easily to and like like have still like belief in stuff. I think it's also like very different and very varied on each person, I guess.
Sure, that's 100% true.
So not, I wouldn't say like 100%, but because I'm not a psychologist or anything, I'm not. I wouldn't say like it's sure, but that's my own opinion.
I think we can wrap this up and start on one of our conspiracy theories that we prepare for today, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's been like 20 minutes now.
Yep. Okay, so who wants to go first?
I think you can go first.
Okay, firstly, disclaimer: we don't believe in it.
Disclaimer.
Just
Yeah.
We may or may not believe in it.
Yeah, it depends on each person, and we want to keep it like, private, I guess.
Alright, so you can go first.
Yeah, sure. I think I'll start on subliminal advertisement.
Alright.
So I'll start with like the definition of it first. So subliminal advertisement is it's actually like quite different from advertisement. So Pooh, can you share the screen?
Sure.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry. So it's originated by it's originated in the latter half of 20th century.
Why do you want me to share the screen?
Just share a Google tab, search James wait, what's the name again? James it's James Vicari, yeah, James Vicari. Vicary.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna pull it up. Thank you very much. It was originated by this guy called James Vicari, and it's basically like hugely related to how technology development actually like he started on using the word subliminal advertisement. It's like a series. At first, it's a series on like how hey we don't have to like waste time to put like an advertisement between watching movies now because in the late this happens in like 1957 and in the late uh, in 1957 basically like television and like theaters were popularized like a lot and were really like popular and of course like companies have to put like advertisement on it so
Did we have like a color television at that time?
I don't
Do
yeah no I
anyone
think
know?
so I think that was like around the 70s or 80s right or,
Yeah, maybe during like Kennedy, after Kennedy
yeah.
time. But
So basically like subliminal advertisement is how like there's a media whether like a sound or images that shows on the screen for like not even a split second, maybe like sometimes a tenth or like a thousandth of a second that we are like not aware of it, but subconsciously we are aware of it. So, so for example, like the most popular one would be like Coca-Cola. Uh, in the 1950s, there's a claim that there's the flash of like a split seconds of uh of a message of like hungry eat popcorn drink Coca-Cola or something like that on the screen for even like split seconds. It's something that the audience wouldn't consciously notice it, but our mind like would learn from it. And this is like okay, so I think I'm talking about I like the background. So furthermore, what are your guys' thoughts?
I think that's very interesting, right? Because um, it's kind of weird to think that um we were subconscious that this happened and we didn't like notice and it will kind of affects us, I guess. And like if you go to the movie theater and then there will be some like 0.1 second of this pop up, and then will be decide to drink Coca-Cola. I think that's obviously as of our current day, there's not like some sort of proof to this, but I think many people believe in it, and I think Farm and Ink can give some details things.
Okay. I haven't like finished my story yet, but probably can add your opinion on this matter first.
Can you speak it up again?
Oh, okay, sorry. Do you
I can give some brief of you. So Ink doesn't have to.
Like, I mean, your question is.
okay.
So basically, Ink was talking about subliminal advertising. He said that it's something that people believe.
On that, but can you repeat your question?
No, Ink just asked, what do you think on subliminal advertising? Because it's something that people believe. Just, for example, drink Coca-Cola, eat popcorn, just blink 1 second into the screen and then just go away, right? And you all decide to eat that sort of foods. So obviously, there's no like scientific backup. So what do you think about this?
I think it's not that bad.
Do you think it's
It's
actually
a way
happening?
to attract.
Okay.
Yes, and
So I think Ink can talk about how it affects people, I guess, because we haven't touched on that yet, and we can discuss more.
I actually haven't finished my story yet, and this is kind of like a bait, I guess. So,
Okay.
you said that there's no like theories to like about this yet. I think this is kind of like an anomaly for conspiracy theories, I guess, because this conspiracy theories actually like. Okay, I'll continue my story first. So after that, when he came out to the public and he said, "Hey, this is the idea of subliminal advertisement. We'll put like messages and advertisement, and you don't have to waste your time to watch advertisement, to watch like ads or anything." The at first he thought people are gonna be happy, but the public riots and get like really mad at like the idea because I think they perceive it as like the company have like the power to manipulate how you behave. Like exactly, it's kind of like brainwashing you. It's like quite a scary thoughts. However, this theory cannot be like replicated. Like by cannot be replicated means that even like in the experiment, like the first one of like Coca-Cola that we made, uh, the movie theaters actually come out and said that there's no like significance in like Coca-Cola or like popcorn sales at all. And so like the theory was like debunked for a while, and like throughout like the latter half of 21st century, it's kind of like pops up around here and there, in like television mainly because and like posters too. Posters, especially like it's not just like it's not just like a message or a media pops up on the screen while your movie is playing. It can be like a subtle, like very subtle messages that some people can like perceive differently, or like some hidden messages. I think that's specifically called subliminal messages. And however, like after like the debunks and stuff in 2006, there's actually an experiment about this, proving that though is like it's not like a significant thing at all. Like by putting like some flashing things on screen to like make the subconscious mind notice it, but you're not consciously notice it. It doesn't really like improve the sales that much. Like there's no like significant changes. However, there are still like changes. So the specific examples was like in 2006 they conducted an experiment. This time for Lipton and mineral waters, like some no-brand mineral waters, and they gave like tips for people to get dirty while watching a movie. It's not like exactly a movie, but like it's like kind of like a short media that will have like constant subliminal advertisement for like the products, and it's quite like a well-known brand product as that. And like the experiment concluded that like there are some like if the consumers need there are consumer needs if there are consumers needs towards the product, and it usually have to be the product that the consumer already know about or like have some connections to, they might have like a slight increase in sales. And so yeah, but that might not even be like, but it's not like significant enough to do it anyway, and it might be like some statistical anomaly too. It might be like statistical anomaly as well, but I think the experiment was conducted like really, really well, and like the control was really good. So I think it's quite interesting on how like it's not like entirely true. Yeah, how it's not like entirely
So
true, but like there's still like some parts of it, I guess.
so as of that experiment, we I mean like as you know from that experiment, that's one experiment, right? So I don't want to stressing out. We know that it's it's in a way quite manipulative, but it doesn't affect people that much. But as Ting May said earlier, it's some people believe that it's quite manipulative, and I think it is scary as well because it's not just an ad that we know, right? So it's kind of like just pop up, and we don't even know it's like that it is there. So I think it's kind of scary, and obviously you can go over the like the legal stuff later, but for example, product placement in the movie, I'm not sure if it's legal or not, but it's kind of depends on like the rules and regulations of each country, I guess. But for example, if I want to do movies with like I want to place product Beaou, I don't think it's fully like legal in a way. So
Yeah.
so
Do you have anything to?
maybe it's
Oh yeah, Poof, you're gonna continue your point. Sorry.
I don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
That's it for me. What do you think?
Can I talk about an alcohol advertisement?
Yeah, yeah,
So in Thailand, um, there's a law that prohibits alcohol advertising on electronic media. But if you turn on your TV, you'll see many alcohol companies uh, are advertisements on the television, and they like like did something do something not related to that, like
Yeah,
promoting Thai culture.
that's like a loophole in law, as you can say. It's kind of like you I forgot the word already, but it's kind of like you kind of like exploit the law, I guess, that doesn't cover it. There are some sort of examples like um kind of like you buying things and then you have a chance of lottery or something that's illegal in the US, but obviously it's not entirely illegal because if the company sets up a freeway that you can get access to like that lottery, for example, you send mails to their like company, you can get some sort of like one place in lottery, something like that. I'm not sure if that makes sense because I don't give like specific example, but it's kind of there are always ways to go like manipulate the law. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a game.
I,
I think
going
we're kind of like
from my
general advertisement now. So
Yeah.
from my story, um, they also have like there's a video on these and yep, you have to go to parties. I don't mean you guys, but
I'm
you
sorry
have to
for like
buy.
cut out a bit. So
Yeah, I think you have to fix your mic a bit.
yeah,
I mean, I think you can continue
Like
with this. Okay.
it's from so first.
I mean, your mic is right here if you're trying to say something very
I
loud.
mean like they put videos on about going to parties, and then if you go to parties, I don't mean you guys, but
Yeah.
uh they will have to you will have to buy alcohol product
Yeah.
or another way they may like advertise on their clean water product.
Yeah, especially with like COVID-19, obviously we kind of move from the traditional media, right, to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and obviously they collect they not they allegedly collect our data for their like advertisement purpose. So it's kind of scary in a way because um that can be manipulative, but that's not about the topic. But my topic is that it can contain like I mean you cannot filter all advertisement, right? As I had said like earlier about the development of conspiracy theories, but I think that's also like how this theory can develop right now as well.
Okay. I think I should move on to like the conclusion part for like the advertisement now since yeah since I ate up a lot of time now. So subliminal advertisements has like been compared to like other conspiracy theories, it's relatively quite new, and the public perception of it, of like, and people who believe in it perceive it as quite like a scary thing, and I think it's very like interesting on how we are like very scared of like people like manipulating our minds and how we behave. And I think the biggest thing that subliminal advertisement affects how we see the world, I guess it's mainly about technology. Like as technology develops further, I think there's gonna be like uh, a new conspiracy theories like that's related to technology, and I think this is a very good examples of how like uh, media and how like something can affect our psychology and how we like perceive it, but like by not being like exactly like 100% true, it can also like create some that's my word, can also create some like uh, confusion and like perception for some people as well. So I think it's pretty interesting.
I think you can also touch a little bit on the legal side. So I think um, this type of advertisement is banned from several countries, even though obviously they are not like some sort of scientific proof, but um, I think that they want to prevent like prevent from the beginning. It was
Yeah, I think I'll look up some specific examples first. Sorry about this.
So, what do you think on like this topic as a whole? Subliminal advertisement.
Hmm.
Do you think it's real in a way, or it's just like a myth? Or like, should we be scared of it?
I don't think that's 100% conspiracy theory.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it's as tangible and
Mm.
maybe you could say as legit as when compared to other theories, I guess.
It can be like proven by several experiments.
Mhm. Yeah, I just looked it up, and it's banned in like a lot of major countries, such as the UK, America, and Australia. It's banned since like 1958. It's like basically a year after like its inception, I guess.
All right, so do you guys have any final thoughts on this?
Mm. Okay,
Right, so
I think I already told mine, but I have one point that I forgot to say. Sorry. Uh,
okay.
Subliminal advertisement is something that we have to live. I think it emphasizes how uh, behavioral psychology is important, like very, very important to our daily life now, and how there are people that want it, and in the mind of like uh public in the public mind, and like in the mind of like many people, there are like someone and something that wanted to manipulate us. So I think by being conscious about the like exact the science of psychology and how we think, it's very, very important to be like aware of these kind of stuff, of how we like behave.
All right, so regarding of the manipulation, I see I'll sum up a bit. So subliminal advertisement, as Ying said, is kind of like manipulating by showing some sort of like short sensory and image of something that can affects people, but as proven by an experiment, it's not that effective. So continuing the theme of manipulation, the next topic, I think I'm just gonna go next.
Yeah, it's a topic world domination.
Seems like a huge topic.
Mhm. I'll share my screen.
Okay. Mm.
So the picture you see here is a logo of the Illuminati with the Eye of Providence here, and as a whole, it's the pyramid.
What
So
does the text
basically,
say? Do you know what does the text say? Never mind if
it's about
it,
it's about the new world order. No, what's order? Which is part of the world domination. Yeah.
alright, so can you give us a bit of context on the word domination and Illuminati? I mean, you can just say it. You don't have to.
So, New World Order is basically a theory that hypothesizes um, a, a secret totalitarian government who rules the world. Many speculations believe on their own that the one who rule the world may be like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Rothschild family, or even lizard, the lizard human. Actually, so how about Illuminati? Actually, Illuminati is a real organization in 18th century, and the one who uh founded is Adam Weishaupt. Uh, he's a kind of a scientist. The re- the reason why he joined it is because of the resistance against like the church, and um initially
Alright,
he
so
wanted
I
to
would like
join the
to say
Freemasons,
something a
but
bit.
he didn't. Okay.
So the reason why I laugh is because of the quote something I'm something of a scientist myself by from like Spider-Man that like Tobey Maguire plays because the character is Green Goblin, but I couldn't remember the actor who played the role, which is kind of sad, I guess. That's it, nothing much.
Okay, Paul, you can continue your story.
I I just forgot he's not actually a pure scientist. He's like like a philosopher
Mm.
or lawyer. And then the organization eventually disappeared. He moved to France, and it went away from world history. But some people just propose that uh, this organization still appear and is secretly ruling the world.
That sounds scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think there's a story
basically.
about like a family who befriended the king. So can you tell us about that?
Oh, the Knights of the Templar, right?
I think so.
So they like in 15th century uh they uh they uh they the organization was founded, and then the intention was to keep people keep the royals with oh sorry. The intention was to keep the royal blood still ruling the country or becoming the monarch. And then they became under the rule of the Pope, and became very rich. Many queens and kings in Europe um owed them in like 100 years later.
And I think there's the kids kind of go to different places in the world, like right? And
Oh, oh, you were talking. Oh, that's the Rothschild family.
all right,
So basically, the Rothschild family is uh
Wow, that's like the name of the family as well. I didn't know that.
uh,
Wow.
History lesson with Brown.
so the founder of the Rothschild family is Mayer Shell Rothschild. He was born in the impoverished uh, family in Frankfurt, Germany, being Jewish. And then, uh, as he grew up, he he like bec- uh, he accumulated his wealth and got more connection to the royal family. Uh, just by selling like coins and tokens to the kings, and then he befriended the king of Hesse. The king eventually the king didn't have any heirs, so the ones so Mr. Mayor here just just got all of their money. They, and then he sent five of his children to other cities in other countries of Europe.
I think can stay in that like page. I mean that page you don't have to scroll
Yeah,
here and there because it's kind of like mess with my head. I guess. And by the way,
they
do you
accumulate their wealth and got more connections to the royal family.
I see that my green thing on Discord is popping up which mean that in a way my voice is like sending into the mic, but I haven't speak at all. So this is my voice kind of like sent into the mic.
Oh no, it's okay. It's
Okay,
probably like
it's
something very like subtle.
probably some sort of like watching streams or visual things. Okay, that's fine. We can
Oh,
continue.
so just by but something that made them very rich. Actually, it's the way how they manipulated the war between um, two countries in Europe or multiple countries. Yeah. For example, if France, um, it was controlled by James Rothschild and went to war with Germany, controlled by Shell. Um, those two, the Rothschild family gi- uh, will give support to both countries just by like um this guy give support to Germany and this one give support to France
So
and
it's
then
kind of like they spark the war. They help to turmoil the conflict in a way.
yeah
I'm
they
not sure
caused
if
it.
they necessarily like started or not, or like escalate the war situation, escalate the tension, right?
So it's kind of like they, as Palm said, they kind of like contribute or like promote the war, I guess, by giving weapons and support.
Yeah, and how they wanted to select the winner just by cutting the supplies of one of them.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think when there, I think there's also about the government bond as well, because obviously, so for example, when like one of them want to lose, maybe they can just tell, hey, maybe they are going to lose and that they are going to tell people that they are going to win and or something like. Oh, I'm not sure if you can explain this.
Mm.
And it's something to do with the bond because obviously when it's like when the economy is not good, the bonds price will be very low.
Oh. So continuing from that, um, after the war ended, uh, the two governments still have to loan the money from Rothschild family, like because um because the losers still had to pay war reparations, and then the winner still had to uh kind of repair the countries and the army too.
So as a way, it's like a win, a quote unquote win for the Russian family, right? Because like
Right.
conflict happen, there's always like gains for them that they can always like expand their wealth and better like their family by like supporting on both sides.
But I
Yeah,
understand
and
what I mean.
that will be
uh,
gonna that's not gonna be doable unless you have two branches of the family in two different countries.
Promise is about like the bond as well because obviously maybe one can say that they're going to lose and people might sell
Yes.
bond,
So
right?
so
Because obviously
like
if they're going to war like this, it's no good for it's
yeah,
not good for anyone. Everyone who lost
I'll
during
talk
war. So
I'll talk about that. So for example, Nathan Rothschild uh gave support to the British in the war. Uh, but in exchange, Nathan offered a condition that um, he would be the first person to know if the war is gonna be if the if the war is gonna be if the British gonna be the winner or the loser, and then like when the news came to him, he would spread the news that the British had lost the war, but actually they won it. And then the price of the bond, the price of the government bond will decrease, and he will uh, buy all of them. Eventually, it eventually the army will officially announce that they won the war, and then he will get a huge profit from that. Even like I guess like 1,000 or 10,000 percent profit from those bonds.
and obviously as you can see in that chart, there's some sort of like 1990, which is basically like 20th century stuff. So I guess you can talk about how it leads to like the more current world, the more current world, I guess, and into like the changing world order as well.
I want to say it's true, but it's still a conspiracy theory. So there's a convention in Vienna in um, mid 19th centuries. Yeah. Um, the Rothschild with together with Illuminati and kings and kings of Europe, uh, they would like to create a new world order or like a centralized government of the world. But but uh, I think the Tsars of Russia disagree with that. And 100 years later, they just will uh, they just like uh revenge them by ending the House of Romanov. And then they eventually saw that monarchy or bloodline succession no longer worked. So they created the system of democracy to have like 4 or 8 years ruler.
Mm.
So
Oh,
it's
that's crazy.
to be easily manipulated.
Mm.
And then
This
they also created World War I and World War II just to rule the world easily.
Mm. But wait, hold on. That sounds a bit weird because George Washington deployed the idea of democracy since he started in like around 1776. But
Hmm.
maybe like it's kind of like an overlapping idea. Maybe like it's some kind of like development. I'm not really sure. But yeah,
I mean,
that's
in
very
term of, I think maybe democracy maybe have been like something that lasts, like an ideology that lasts quite long time ago, I guess. And I think 18th century was like during like Rama 7 and King Rama 7 in Thai. So maybe like
No,
no, I'm
18th
sorry.
century. No,
That's during the that's King Rama 7 was during the war, and
I
that
guess
was
it's
when.
about King Rama I or King Rama II.
Hmm.
The beginning of Vatanagosing.
Yeah, I was about to say that like during King Rama 7 there was like change to democracy under like the monarch under the monarch, the king, under the king, like
Hmm.
constitutional monarchy. So maybe it's would maybe kind of correlate to that, but it doesn't really. So I think we can kind of discuss a bit here, maybe like
yeah.
5 minutes or something.
So next we
Mm,
can talk about the domination of the United States. Conspiracy theorists propose that all presidents of the U.S. Um, are controlled by the Illuminati or the Russia. Uh, only the
so-
except the only one, which is John F. Kennedy. He wasn't actually he was controlled, but he wanted to reveal it, but ended up being killed first.
wow. Mm. I have
Like
something to say, but I kind of lost.
theorists propose that many like um rich people of the U.S. Are mostly Jewish, and most people like J.P. Morgan or the Rockefeller family are controlled by the
Yeah,
Illuminati or the Russia.
Ali, you said that this family, the Rothschild family, was also
Rothschild,
Jewish, right? Rothschild
right?
was also Jewish.
right?
Yeah, there are a lot of rich Jewish people to America in America, and I think there's also correlate to the support of American to like Iran or something. I'm not sure, like 2 or 3
Israel,
years ago, Israel. Yeah,
Israel.
so yeah, that I think you bring up a very good macro view, I guess,
And
because it's
also, like, you know what, like, in in actual history, uh, they say that the Rothschilds didn't expedite it to America, but the theory just say that they secretly control America right now.
I think he did a pretty good job at explaining this. As I said earlier, is kind of show like the macro views of the world in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Kapu, you can go first.
for World War I and World War II, I'm not sure if it's directly kind of like related, because we have discussed about this with in our podcast about like the assassination of Du Ferdinand and from Austria and some sort of like the effects of World War I that leads to World War II. So I think um it it's kind of overreaching a bit on World War I and World War II, in my opinion. In what do you think about
Mm,
this topic?
I think like Paul bring up like a really good point about how like the overlaps with like history, because I think like another thing that is very important too, like when you are like talk about and doing some of these stuff, it's kind of like important to like it's kind of important to like differentiate what are like theories, what are like kind of like quote unquote facts, and what and have uh have like a really good like basis on how this part is like very good at history, was like amazing at history. I think it's very like interesting too on how like this topic is very like history intense, I guess. And I think it's very kind of like wow. the the like level of disbelief is very like high for me right now. But like because the story starts like very insane, but like also sounds possible in a certain sense. And that's like I think that's kind of like the scariness of conspiracy theories, of some conspiracy theories in a certain sense, especially ones that like might sound like beyond reach, but there might be like a slight of like possibility in it. So yeah, this is
mm,
very scary to me.
I think it's weird, I guess, to see how Palm connected the dots each like point in the history in a timeline to where and another thing that I would like to talk about is obviously I have talked about this in our 2 podcasts as well, which is the changing world order, which is basically when like the obviously the British came into power. But you can stop share screen if you want, but if you want
mm,
to stay on this page, just don't like zoom in and zoom out, just stay on this. So basically, when the British came into power, I think they go to war, they went to war with another country or so, and obviously there were no one who want to oppose the British in a way, and for the US, obviously the US drive very like very high after the war, right? Because obviously no one really wants to fight during the war. Um, especially like as you can
whom,
see
whom
from the beginning. What?
in the World War One podcast did I say like there's a theory that the US no longer supported German the Central Power, so they lost the war.
I'm not sure whether you said it on the podcast or not, but
Cause,
I think
cause,
something.
cause
Maybe I'll
Frankfurt at that time was the financial center of Europe, and Vienna was the arts and culture center of Europe.
See, London is a financial it was and still is a financial center in the world alongside Singapore and um, this is very embarrassing, but it's somewhere in Hong Kong. I'm not sure where it is, and it's
Yeah.
probably New York
Oh,
in the
I can
US.
connect to that. Theorists propose that uh, the Li
Financial centers.
Lee Hsien Loong and Lee Kuan Yew was the people of the Rothschild family. They 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 were controlled by this Rothschild.
Who is Lee Chuan Yong and another guy again?
Lee Hsien Loong and Lee Kuan Yew. You know them?
No,
maybe I can pull the picture of them up on the screen.
Oh, Lee Kuan Yew, the first Prime Minister of Singapore,
Oh,
and his son Lee Hsien Loong.
you know, be so embarrassed after
Do you have
knowing that I
do you
don't know
have
the
any
Prime
idea
Minister
about
of
them?
Singapore. No.
Yeah. Like he's very popular, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew here. He developed Singapore from nothing
Actually,
to
nothing.
everything of Asia.
So how does that tie to this conspiracy theory?
some people
Um,
some people believe that
as I
it's
said,
actually
uh, people propose that um those two, the father and the son, um, were controlled by the Rothschild.
So I think I can finish up my thoughts first. So obviously, as like the World War II ended, no one's really want to fight with the US because everyone is exhausted from the human resource. I don't know what to use this word, but from the person who from people who go to war and from resources wise, so US can rise up to like the peak, I guess. So it's kind of interesting how you tie like this theory with World War One, World War Two, and the rise of the USA and like John F. Kennedy assassination, and so which will be my topic that I'll get
Mm.
to talk about in a few minutes.
And also, I haven't talked about three spatial cities founded proposally founded by uh the Rothschild. It includes like the city of London, the Vatican City, and Washington D.C. in British Columbia.
Vatican is in the USA, right?
so what has
Vatican is in
like
Italy. It's its own nation, but surrounded in Rome.
Oh, this is so embarrassing. And I don't know anything.
Vatican City, the smallest country in the world, it's the city of the Pope.
Yeah, I think the revenue there is pretty high, so I see it's like pretty close to Singaporeans.
And I
So it's
guess like the Freemasons and Illuminati have some connection with the Pope. They manipulated many folks.
I think we can finish it up. So, Palm, do you have any ideas who has been coming up with these ideas, or is like where has it originated, or like where it is right now?
I'm not sure, but from many news I've read, the the theory was mainly from people who used to work in like the city of London on important banks of the world. They say that there are some people who secretly control the whole world, and many central banks in almost every country are owned by the Rothschild.
Wow. Wow. Oh, so wow. I have no words. So it's kind of like they control the government, some US US government in a way, and control banks as well. That's practically like the whole the government and the bank.
Yes,
I mean, that's
but
at least
I have
how
nothing
our
to say.
economy
But
works, I guess.
I have no idea to say about Thailand.
I mean, you don't have to say that's good.
But apparently, what you are seeing now is some companies monopolizing Thailand. That's it.
Do you have any final thoughts on this topic?
Yeah. Uh,
And another thing is like
Okay, not done.
you know,
Okay,
like
fine.
many celebrities um are believed to be controlled by Illuminati. Like,
yeah.
you know, JC and Beyonce
Yeah. I'm worried about that.
doing this
Yeah.
time. Yeah, in the concert.
Yeah.
But it's actually their music company. People just believe that.
Mm.
And also like they believe that uh, those people are lizard human. Uh, uh,
Oh,
oh,
you talk about lizard. I thought about um the the CEO, I guess, of Facebook.
We have to call it meta.
mm,
Okay, do you have
okay, I think
anything
that's
to
it.
add to this?
Yeah. I
Or I
Okay,
think
I think that's it. But so Illuminati has become popular in recent years. Um, Many people saw triangles in an image and suddenly propose that it's an Illuminati.
yeah.
It's kind of a meme
Yes. Uh, for my
when you talk about that.
uh, for my conclusion, I think it's very interesting on how like we use it symbols because like Illuminati essentially people associate Illuminati to like triangles and an eye, like they are prominent. I think it's very like interesting. Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting on how like it's related to like a symbol just like it's essentially just a triangle and an eye can be related to like some very, very big things and how we like instantly form connections between them. It's really like as you said about like the memes, we saw something and we like I said it, hey, it's the Illuminati like immediately. I think it's very interesting in that part. So yeah.
The weird thing. This ties us back or brings us back to the concept of conspiracy theories. As Ing mentioned earlier, it's related to phys, phys,
Psychology.
psychology. Yeah, psychology.
Psychology.
So obviously it's this obviously relates to how we think and perceive things. As from like the old time, shapes has been something very prominent, especially during like the Greeks time, because there's a lot of calculation, construction. So it's kind of interesting to see how the connection of shape and number is to like our world, I guess. So as Pa mentioned earlier, is John F. Kennedy also like was also included in this conspiracy theory as well because maybe but maybe someone thought that he want to expose the Illuminati. So this ties or brings us back to not brings us back. I'm sorry. This leads us to the next topic, which is the assassination of John F. Kennedy, which was one of the most prominent, not sure, but probably one of the most prominent leaders or the presidents in the US. Obviously, you may heard him from his speech about going to the moon. I recommend watching that, and yeah, he was very like quite young considering how old politicians can be at that time and currently, I guess. Um, so um, I have to look up the like oh, when the assassination took place. I'm sorry. So on November 22nd, 1963, um,
I guess it's
John F.
in
Kennedy,
Houston, Texas, right?
yeah, Dallas, Texas.
Ah, Dallas.
I'm sorry for this. Oh, I think I wrote it somewhere, but I can't find it. So basically,
He
he
was
was,
sitting in a sports car.
and he was riding in a car, and then he was shot when he tried to like promote for his upcoming presidential election, because uh, and there were a lot of theories surrounding this because obviously assassination of like celebrities and big people are like because at the time I think this was and still is the biggest what the biggest assassination in the world. So basically, he was shot in the head 3 times by a gunman. So basically, it's 3 shots in 6 seconds, and that's 6 seconds that changed the entire history, I guess. So after getting shot on the upper right quadrant of the skull, it's kind of shot through his head, I guess, and his basically parts of his head come out, and it landed on his security guard and his wife's bodies. Not like the dead bodies, but alive bodies. So it's kind of scary, I guess. And then he was sent to Parkland History Hospital, and at 1 p.m. he was declared dead. So there are a lot of theories lingering around this. So several people thought that it's related to CIA, mafia, the Cuban Prime Minister, KGB, which is the Russian spy, the the right wingers, which are his opposition, and then basically every people were tied. There are a lot of people who were tied to this, I guess, and like the conspiracy theory started development. There are several articles, books that that cover this, I guess, and also many people thought about the case being tampered and the witness being killed to like shut them out, I guess, shut their with some sort of like witness who tied this. So I'll stop here for now because my head is kind of early, but not really. What do you guys think at this point about this?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, sure.
I think another important factor here is like the time and like the setting. Like I think the time, especially like the time when it's like in the midst of like Cold War and like during like the 60s and around those times, it's like very like heavy in terms of like tensions between two nations. And so I think like people are that like created like the conspiracy theories have like uh as like we mentioned in like our openings, uh political like shenanigans can like get people involved like very very like easily, and so I think it's quite interesting on how like this assassination attempts and that succeed. It's like a national sensation, like an international sensation, I should say.
Not sure if sensation is a right
No,
word for
sorry, not
this.
sensation. It's that international like uh events, not events. So,
Yeah, yeah, UN is
yeah,
fine. I think
yeah, okay.
it was very huge because obviously that, there was nothing like this happen. Um, like has ever happened at that time, and I know it's like the president of the United States, right? It was the strongest power at that time, and the president, the leaders, was killed during the midst of everything in the world that was going on at that time. Do you have any thoughts, and we can continue?
It's probably
Probably speak like closer to your mic.
I would say not done by his political opposition, but the US is democracy and they would believe in democracy just by election. And I would say it's gonna be influential people uh who have some who would lost some of their benefits or advantages from his policy.
Yeah, obviously, when it's come to politics or like policies, not everyone wins, right? Honestly, it's someone who will take an effects of it, and even when everyone wins, it's not gonna be always fair all the time. So obviously, there are always there are always haters, and you couldn't say that someone will settle down even though the election has been like like has been announced because it's it always be like some sort of haters in a way. So I'll present my three theories that I found because it is not like very like core everything, but I'll try to like cover cover most of the things. So the first theory was by Errol Morris. Um, I think he was someone who wrote an article about this, I guess. So the Umbrella Man. I'm not sure how this is called, but I think most people call it the Umbrella Man. I got this video from New York Times, so special thanks to them. I'll put the link to this video down below in the description. So basically, it said that it was rain before the assassination, and during the assassination, it was very clear sky. Basically, a good day before a perfect storm. I guess not a perfect storm, sunny day before a storm. I guess. So basically, it was around 9 to 9:30 p.m. So no one's really wear coats or open umbrella, but there was this man who likes, as you can see here, I think that this image is not that clear, but he is holding a open umbrella, which surprisingly or could essentially be on the same place and the same time of the assassination, very close. So basically, he was the only one, as you can see from the crowd. This is the real view, I guess. So basically, someone theorized that this man would um I'm sorry. So someone theorized that this man shot the president to like to his throat, I guess. So like as you can see here, someone draw the pictures of like it is a umbrella that can shot a gun. I mean that has a gun in it and can shot people. So obviously I mean, we have discussed a bit of my what do you guys think? Oh, give a little bit more context. So maybe some say it's too close, right? Because if this guy just shot here, then why wouldn't anybody be able to catch him? Right? Maybe someone said that it because after the shot, it was very chaotic, and everyone kind of like mess around. I guess so he kind of used that opportunity to flee and maybe like there was someone who called a man. I mean, like to prove his innocence, I guess, to go to like show what his motive is, and he brought his umbrella to Washington, and he kind of showed that it was a protest against John F. Kennedy father, as its reference to like the movement he was supporting or something like that. So this was the first idea. What do you guys think on this?
Saying like it's very I think because like especially like in like that time where like there was like a lot of spying between like the USA and the USSR. I think like the spy technology would be like possible, like definitely possible for like something like this to happen, and people might like skew towards this idea because like there was like a lot of spying going on around too, and like spy. This seems to be like the perfect spy kit. So like people might like believe in this theory because of the umbrella equipment. In my opinion.
Yeah, but I think I don't think it's that practical in my opinion, but obviously there was quite a lot of weird tools at that time because weird tools and gadgets. So maybe it's possible, but I don't think it's likely to be this one though.
Yeah.
Pam, do you have any opinions on this?
You can continue, by the way.
Can you say that again?
You can continue, Mr. Fu.
Okay,
I
boss.
have no opinion.
I don't think I don't think this one is necessarily like the one or anything, but like I can understand why people might believe it. Yeah.
What? So obviously, it's not like I have three like theories here, but it's not just like three. Obviously, it's kind of tied to our thing as well. So another thing is that um the shooter was shot shot the bullet from Texas School Book Depository, which is the corner of the Houston and M. So basically, this was the school building, just just where the shootout happened. Unfortunately, I didn't prepare the footage here, so I'm sorry. So basically, the coach Lee Harvey Oswald on the sixth floor of that building. Um, I'm not sure how they got the evidence leading to the arrest, but uh, oh, Atom changed his name on the server. Never mind. So basically, Larry he was gunned down by the local nightclub owner Jack Ruby. So it's quite interesting how he was gunned down as well, because he was gunned down in the police station. Gunned down mean shooting someone very lethally, because usually causing death. So it's so basically he shot this guy before he was even like given a confession, I guess. So we doesn't really know his motive, and we we didn't really know did he act alone or something. But according to 1964 Warner Commission, which was like the commission that was formed to like to dissolve this case, this this event, I guess. Not dissolve, to give people reason like what happened, what going on, something like that. So another interesting, I'm sorry, I kind of repeating myself, but he kind of he was gunned down, which you may say that it's kind of like to shut his mouth or something like that, to give evidence to the cop. But why would the local nightclub owner do that? I mean, we didn't know that as well. So it's it's kind of really vague, I guess. Another So after that, during the 1969, oh, I'm sorry, 1979, um, U.S. House Select Committee on Assassination, which you can shorten to be HSCA. Basically, they kind of think that there was a second gunman. Um, Judging by some sort of like um the old footage of the the Warren Commission, I guess. And someone also theorized, not from the committee, I guess, but theorized that someone covered up the second wound, because like um there were two gunmen who shot, right? So basically they tried to cover one side, which obviously I'm not sure if that sounds a bit absurd, because it's kind of hard to call up evidence to the like federal government or something like that. But I think they try to like. It's possible, but it's unlikely, I guess, in my opinion. And there have been conspiracy theories lingering around this as well, because then we never know the motive for the shooters, and that's the like even though that even when there are two shooters, we didn't know that do they completely like just want to kill the president because they didn't like them, or they didn't like him. They were hired to kill somebody. They were hired to kill the president. Mhm. So, what do you guys think about the shooter acting alone and being gunned down by the nightclub owner, and then like the third theory of there were two gunmen.
Hmm.
I kind of ran a bit too long, I guess. Sorry for
It,
that.
it's okay. Maybe you can go first. I think I need some time to think about it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. How the murderer did it. And
Can you
there's
say that again? Yeah, we can hear you now.
yeah, it's kind of where how the murderer did it. They use like a very special technology under the umbrella. I think maybe the CIA or the FBI could do that.
The hard part is to figure out the motive, in my opinion, because I mean, if I kill Ing today, then that that's it. Then the police want to know why I kill Ing, right? Maybe I hate Ing or something. Yeah, I mean, there also a cause for an action. So yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, motive is very important in my opinion, especially in this case.
Probably, I think it's maybe about JFK didn't want to uh declare war on Vietnam on the Vietnam War. Because after Richard Nixon
Yeah,
just
yeah,
proposed that war.
and I may forgot to say this, but this is a part of conspiracy theories. That so basically the motive is the conspiracy theories because in a way because we didn't know like who were involved. Some say the CIA, the mafia, something like that. So so it's kind of it's not about crushing the culprit in a sense because maybe the culprit is not just the killer, right? He may be like a sign of force, or maybe like was or were supported by someone. So it's kind of something to think about because maybe Ian can say his thoughts. We can kind of wrap this topic up.
Okay, I agree with you on like the hard thing to like about this topic is the motive of the shooter or shooters. I think I should say it like that. Uh, and I think another very like important thing about this conspiracy theory is about how like recent it was and how like imagine if it happened like nowadays, it would be like very different. There would be like people holding up their like phone to like oh hey footage around more. And I think it's kind of like both like I'm not sure whether like good or bad is to use here, but I think it would feels like very different nowadays if this like occurs nowadays. And I think like the better quality of like footage is better like the advancements in like crime investigation would also like help this a lot too. And I think it also illustrates by it being a mystery, it also illustrates like the importance of like the police and the investigation team of how like people wanted answers and wanted to know like why like their leaders of like the country is dead. And it's like a very big event, a very like important event, and it shifts it shifts how like the history proceeds, how like people proceed with their life like forever during that time. So I think it's very like important.
It was very heavy
Mm.
because I mean the U.S. president was is very important. Is and still was and still is very important. I should say has has been very important, right? But that's fine. And I forgot what to say again, but so I'll wrap this up. So this was a very huge like news at that time, and as you said, it will be probably very different today in terms of how we approach the media, because it was like only television back then, and now with the recent event in the Oscar, where like obviously we know like how that blew up very fast, and I think it will probably be very different that day because I don't have anything to say. So I think we are kind of running out of time now. Do you want to do another topic? Um,
Yeah,
or should we kind of like sum this up?
I at first I wanted to talk a little bit about Hollow Earth series. It's kind of like a little bit shorter, but like looking at the time, I think I wouldn't have enough time for that. But I think I will integrate it into the final part of what I would like
Right.
to say. Mm.
So should this be like our final thoughts or our
Yeah,
takes, something like that? Right.
yeah,
So I think you can go first because like,
sure. Okay, so the thing that I mentioned earlier about tying about Hollow Earth into this is how like a, a story about Sir Edmund Halley. He was a very important scientist, and he was famous for like many like especially like in astrology. Sorry, not sorry, astronomy. He was very famous in the field, and uh, he another like fun fact about him, I guess, is how he proposed the idea of Hollow Earth theories, but he didn't like he uses scientific approach to try to prove it. He also uses scientific approach. He also uses scientific approaches to trying to like prove it, and he uses it as a cause to explain magnetism, but he also like when he researched them, like this is trying to what I'm trying to say is theories and ideas can be like developed by human minds, but we also have to do like the work, and we also have to put like some more like tangible and uh, thoughts that are filtered, I guess, through like research and replication to prove the thoughts as well. So conspiracy theory is a very, very interesting topic to talk about, but you have to be cautious. You have to uh, differentiate you have to differentiate what is fact and what is opinion, especially in these like ages where information in the world is like overloaded. Because and it's not I don't think it's wrong to talk about it, but it's talk about it with like care and cautious, not just talk about it like randomly. And I think it's quite important to be like to base your thinking on like the on science and on something like provable and something based on like facts and something true. Uh, and it's been a pleasure to be on this episode. Yeah.
so Bam, do you want to go next? Do you want me to go next? I think Bam is back. I think you can go next, I guess.
So in this conspiracies, um, we have right to believe um or not to believe, but before that we have to research it delicately and detailedly. Judging the information is very important, especially from Facebook or other social media platforms where um, there's no filter of information in each post. Yeah, so we are living in um, the digital ages. That's very important.
Um, so I think that's a very great takes for my co-host, I guess. So as in said, conspiracy theories lingering around the themes of facts. Oh, I didn't see my hand and it's like this, and my screen is a bit taller. So it's about facts and how about facts, opinions, and how people perceive things, I guess, in terms of psychology as well. So when it comes to this, we should use our common sense, I guess, and try to be like reasonable. Obviously, conspiracy theories relate to a lot of. I mean, we as a human has a lot of opinions, but obviously, these conspiracy theories relate to and kind of show how our human thinks and how much we know about the earth, I guess, and about our life. Obviously, we don't know everything, and there are a lot of things out there. So it's kind of hard to believe everything, I guess. So when we're trying to believe something, then we should have some sort of like tangible proof. I guess not tangible, but we should use our consciousness and try to be very mindful about what we are doing. So that's pretty much it for me. So I think we should say goodbye now.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.